Come on, log on. I want to bring you a live report from Zimbabwe. I am coming to you live from a very special place, and I don't know if I can show you these photos or videos or if it'll even make any sense. But here I am feeding Lemba children in Lembaland in Zimbabwe. Come on, somebody, show me that you're listening. I know you've had a time change back home. I hope this is coming through. Here's a group of school children. Oh, this looks like it's working okay. Here's a group of school children that we're feeding right now. Look at those little faces. This is what your gifts have been doing as I've been here in Zimbabwe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is going on 4:00 p.m. here in Zimbabwe, and I'm waiting now for my negative COVID test to come back. I arrived here last, Wednesday, left home on Monday, and we have been running so hard, but the work is amazing. I don't even know what to show you. Here's one of the wells that we drilled. I got to do this backwards somehow. Here's a new water well that we drilled 2 days ago. We had to go down 300 feet, 300 feet to find water. School is out. And all the kids were so excited to come and see and hope that water is going to be struck. Why? Because they have no clean water. These children we are feeding every day. 2,000 children, 3 different semesters for an entire year. That is 6,000 children, and they now have clean water. We visited all 4 wells, and Ron Cantor, hey buddy. Yeah, I know my friend Ron Cantor, who's a leader there in Israel. He was a congregational leader in Tel Aviv, and his beautiful wife Ilana lived with our family when she came from Israel as a non-believer and then came to faith in that first year when she was with us. He and Ilana were just in, I think, Kenya. I think that's right. So he went back to Israel and I came to Zimbabwe. We're playing tag. But we're ministering to our Jewish people here, this Lemba tribe in Zimbabwe, spread out all over the nation. It took us 6 hours in the most unbelievable roads to get to the Lemba people. I can show you pictures of trying to hold the camera steady, riding on roads that no one in their right mind should. I mean, they were deep ditches and trenches and let's see if this is a really good part of the road, and that's a much better way to travel in a cart drawn by oxen or donkeys. Just amazing. But we met with so many of the children. Teachers of these Lemba children told us, one of them sat me down and he said, Paul Wilbur, you have saved our lives. I said, no, I didn't, but I know the one who does. Yeshua, Jesus, gets all the praise, all the glory, all the honor. And our Lemba people, these Jewish Africans from here in Zimbabwe, their hearts are being turned to Yeshua in unprecedented numbers. Listen, we are just beginning. This is just the start. I'm so passionate. We did a Shabbat service with our Lemba friends at a Messianic synagogue that was established by my friend Jonathan Burness. We did that for a couple hours on Shabbat morning. And then we drove 6 hours back after visiting the wells that the Lord allowed us to drill down there. Actually, I always thought that the Lemba were concentrated north of Bulawayo, but if you look on your map, you'll find that the concentration is down by the border, the south and east of where we are right now, and I'm just not even coming up with the right. Oh gosh, my brain is so tired. We got back late at night, then we got up Sunday morning, and we did an 8:30 service at a packed out church here in Bulawayo. Had an awesome time for 2 hours. Then we packed up and went to another church for an 11:30 service, and a couple more hours there. And some people were healed, and they told us that deaf ears opened and blind eyes opened, and oh man, it's just amazing time in the presence of the Lord. And we left there and came back and refreshed for an hour, went back and did a 2-hour seminar on praise and worship with some worship teams here, trying to maximize our time. Today we're visiting other churches, celebration churches here in Bulawayo. We just came from a gold mine. The gold mine shaft goes down a mile into the earth. And no, they weren't willing to give us any free samples. I asked, but you can't get close to it. There's guards and guns and trucks and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, listen. The dollars, and they operate by US dollars here. The dollars that we're spending here in Zimbabwe, we met people who had no food in their home. If I showed you pictures of the houses they live in, these huts, these mud huts with thatched roofs, you wouldn't believe how basic they are. Little round huts with thatched roofs, a door on the front covered maybe with a drape, and that's it. No running water, no toilet, no 45-inch TV. How could they ever survive without a 45-inch flat screen TV? No phone service. I had no phone service here. This is all, you have to find a Wi-Fi signal in order to do it. But people come to faith in the Lord. We went on, what was it, Friday? We went on a couple days ago. On Friday afternoon, Pastor Dixon, who's my host here, Celebration Church in Bulawayo, he's helping us do the wells and the feeding. There goes the electricity. So even in this beautiful home, now we have no air conditioning, and it's hot outside. It is really hot. It's Africa. So he wanted to show me a shrine, an idol. We were driving back home, and he said, Pastor Paul, let me show you an idol here in town. It's a big pile of glass. I think I have a good picture of it. I know I do. Let me see if I can find it and show it to you so you can see what I'm talking about. We have thousands of photos. We have hours and hours of video that we're going to be posting, but I'd like to show, I just saw the picture and I have gone by it now. It's just one picture of it. Oh, here it is. This is, can you see that? That's a pile of broken glass. Why is it broken glass? If you look carefully, there are stones in that pile of glass, and in the midst of the glass, there are small pieces of paper. So what happens there? Well, there is a man close by that pile who lives there, and he calls himself a prophet. And if you will bring a glass bottle with water in it to his hut, he will bless the water. You pay him money, of course. And then you take a piece of paper and you write your troubles down on the piece of paper. You roll the paper and put it in the bottle. He'll bless the water after you pay him, and then you go out across the street, that was the street, the dirt road, and you throw the glass bottle onto the pile and break it with stones. And he says that with that broken glass, all of your troubles will go away. So we were there just 3 days ago on Erev Shabbat. And Pastor Dixon wanted me to see this place of false hope and idolatry. He said, let me just show you this thing. And as we came up that dirt road and parked by the side, we walked over by the pile, and as we did, 3 ladies approached and stood with us by that pile of glass. There's Pastor Dixon. And did you see that? Maybe I can make that go again. Here we are talking with these 3 ladies. And the 4th lady that you saw with her back towards us is Pastor Dixon's wife. And so as they approached this pile of glass, they nodded and acknowledged that we were there. And then they took out glass bottles with water in them and notes stuck inside. And Pastor Dixon walked over them, started to talk with them I just lost the name of their language, Sona. Sona. Is that right? Somebody tell me, is that right? Ooh, it's getting warm in here. The air conditioning just quit. The power will just quit from time to time. But it looks like I still have Wi-Fi, so, oh, you know why? Because there's solar panels on top of Pastor Dixon's home, so we can still have lights at night when the power goes off. But there's not enough power to keep the AC running. So it can get pretty hot here at night. Reminds me, growing up in North Jersey, where we didn't have AC in our home either. And my brother and I shared a small bedroom upstairs, and the big deal was you raised the window and hoped that the breeze would blow and blow the heat out anyway. So there we were talking to these 3 ladies. As it turned out, it was a mother and 2 of her daughters. And the one daughter, you may remember seeing on the picture, was carrying a small baby in her arms. And we found out they spoke English. So I chimed in, of course, and we're asking them, why are you here? Well, we have no food in our home. We have no hope that anything will change. And So we said, well, there's only one person who can make the change. All three of them said, yes, we are believers in Jesus, but nothing has changed. Broke my heart. I don't know where they were going to church. If they go to church, the fields, the open fields, are covered with little cult congregations who have their own prophet. They all dress in white gowns. The women wear white dresses. The men and the women wrap their heads in white head coverings. And there's small groups of them. If there's an open field the size of a couple football fields, there may be 10 different groups there of maybe 10 people or 20 people or 30 people, and they are there with their prophet leading them. They all have a different, they all dress the same. It's like, wow, my heart is broken. They're like sheep without a true shepherd. So anyway, we're speaking with these three ladies and the mom and the two girls were college educated. Somehow they had the resources to go through college and they had certificates. But Zimbabwe, are you listening to me? Zimbabwe has 95% unemployment. Only 5 out of every 100 people have a job. And these ladies said, yes, oh yeah, don't tell us, we believe in Jesus, but we are desperate and we are willing to do anything. We have no food in our home. We have no water. We have no money. And we're coming here as a last-ditch opportunity, hoping that something will change. So we said to these ladies, well, everything changes right now. And I laid my hands on them with their permission and prayed for them that hope and faith would arise. Now, we didn't just turn around, excuse me, and walk away. It's dry here. Pastor Dixon said, where do you live? Give me your address. And they, of course, were a little reluctant, but they said, okay, we live here. This is our address. And he said to them, I'm coming to your house tonight. I'm telling you what time I'm coming. That's Pastor Dixon's wife, Pastor Chippo, who just walked behind me.
I'm sorry.
No. Say hello. We're talking to the world.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. That's Pastor Chippo here in Celebration Church in Zimbabwe. Yes, this is life in real time. So, do we have power?
Yes, we've got power. Do you want air conditioning?
I don't need. I'll be finished in just a couple minutes. Thank you. The power just came on. Thank you all for praying. We're going to be able to sleep tonight. It will be cool in the house. Thank you for joining us, Pastor Chippo. That was I'm staying here at their home. This is my Ritz-Carlton hotel while I'm staying here in Zimbabwe. This is life in real time. It is so cool. So Pastor Dixon took their address and he said, I promise you, I'm coming to your house tonight. They told him, we've heard this before, and no pastor has ever come to our home. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Church, it's time to wake up. It is time to wake up and be the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. So we left them with a blessing and a promise that we would be back. So later on that night, gathered up baskets full of food, which is a good thing because when we got to the house, discovered there were 8 people living there. 8. No food in the pantry. But you know what? They believed that what we said we would do. And so by the time we got to the house, they had oil on the stove boiling, hoping for something to put in the pan. We brought food and water and money and hope and a promise fulfilled. Listen, if we are only willing to declare the gospel, but not demonstrate the gospel, we have done nobody any good. The world is full of promises. The Muslims will make promises to you, and the Hindus will make promises to you, and all the other cults, they will make promises to you. But as Elijah said, you pray, you do your stuff, and the God who answers by fire, let him be God. Well, you know what they say here in Zimbabwe? The God who answers with clean water, let him be God. The God who answers by putting food in our mouths, let him be God. Do you know the average lifespan in Zimbabwe is just over 40 years old? If you make it to 50 years old in Zimbabwe, you are old. Does that stun you? In modern day, enlightened world, the average lifespan in Zimbabwe is just over 40 years old. Will you help me? Would you become a world partner with us? Would you join us in bringing food and clean water and hope to those who have no hope, even for those who say they have put their trust in the name of Jesus? He's waiting for us. Yeshua is waiting for us to be his hands and feet here to bring hope and faith and a gentle word and a smile and clean food and clean water. We're drilling wells and maintaining them where, yes, to the Jew first, but also to the rest of the nation. Now, others are doing good works here. We're not alone in this, but we are focusing on our Lemba Jewish brothers and sisters. And you know what's happening? When they get blessed, they're sharing their water and their food with the rest of the people in their community. So the Jewish people, rather than being a curse to them, are being a blessing. We have now drilled 5 wells. I want to drill 50 wells. I want to provide food for all of those children. We are looking at helping Pastor Dixon to build a food processing plant here in Zimbabwe we won't have to buy the food anymore. We'll make the food. We'll hire people, give them a job to work in the plant. And listen, we are not talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars. $500,000 will build a food processing plant. I just came from a beautiful new church building that cost $120,000 that was built right there in the gold mine property. The owners of the mine gave Celebration here. Pastor Dixon gave him the land. And then other friends of ours gave the money, and they built a beautiful new church where hundreds of worshipers every week enjoy a brand new facility with bathrooms, with running water, with towels and faucets. You can't imagine how revolutionary that is. How many homes in the whole nation have indoor plumbing, have water that runs? I had no idea till I got here. And I saw thousands and thousands and thousands of children who the food that we provide by God's grace, that may be the only meal they have the entire day. We saw children who only ate half of their portion, and they boxed up the rest of it, and they're taking it home to their brother or sister or their mom or their dad, sharing it because that's all they have. Will you become a World Partner today? Click on the description on this page. And yes, we're going to continue to create new songs of praise and worship. This is what gives us open doors. It's the music that calls people to invite us. Then we can go and lead them in worship, and then we can show them the work that they can do with just a few pennies on the dollar that really makes an impact in people's lives. And together, as the kingdom, we're getting the work of the kingdom done. Will you join me today? Help us, please. Stand together with us. You saw the faces of those children. I'll carry those faces with me for the rest of my life, but not them only. There will be many thousands more as we continue to demonstrate the kingdom of God on earth as it is in heaven. What's my Motivation Monday message today? It's back to Matthew 25 again. Yeshua said, "Whatever you did for the least of these, my brethren, I've met thousands of them." He said, "You've done it for me." We served hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plates of food over the last couple of days to Jesus himself. We've drilled 5 wells that's going to produce water for thousands and thousands of people day after day after day. We did it unto Jesus himself. Oh my goodness. Can you tell I'm passionate about this? I'm going home. I start my journey tomorrow, and I'll get home in 2 days. I'm waiting right now, believing for a negative COVID test so that I can get on the plane. You didn't know this, but the day before I came here last week, I got a positive COVID test. I paid $175, and the test came back to me in Jacksonville, Florida, as positive, saying you can't get on the plane. I called the clinic back. I said, I've got to go to Zimbabwe. There are thousands of people waiting for me. There are thousands of hungry children and thirsty children, and I have to go. And the nurse at the clinic said, well, these tests are very accurate, but if you want to try it again, sometimes you can get a negative. Come back again, pay us another $175. We will retest you. And I only had like 20 minutes before they closed. Otherwise, I'd have to cancel my journey here this week. What a disaster. I ran all the way back, got there just in time. The nurse happened to be a Christian who wanted me to go. They tested me again. Another hour later, my test came back negative. I got on the plane. We were delayed getting here 12 hours, almost missed our connection, drove 6 hours over the worst roads you can imagine, down to our Lemba people. It has been intense, but it has been so inspiring. Will you join me today as a World Partner? If you can't join me month to month, send a one-time offering. We are sowing it in good soil, in the lives of men and women. We spoke with adults who said, thank you, you've saved our lives. How? With a glass of clean water that will never run dry. I'm not ashamed of the gospel, and I'm not ashamed to ask you to join us in this mission. It's worth the time. It's worth the effort. It's worth every penny, every dollar. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. Motivational Monday. It's real time. You've heard doors closing and air conditioning shutting off and coming back on, and families coming and going. There's 3 different families that live in this one home, because Pastor Chippo and Pastor Dixon are just lovers of God. And they're loving our Lemba Jewish people. The journey just to get there is unbelievable. Now I appreciate even more the sacrifice that they make to help us minister the good news with water and food to our ancient Lemba Jewish brothers and sisters. What a day. What a week it's been transforming. Thank you for joining me today, or this afternoon, or this evening. I was waiting for this time to come because I'm 7 hours ahead. I thought I was 7 hours ahead of home back in Florida. And as it turned out, just today, I guess, there was a time change back home. You spring ahead and you fall back. You fall back in the fall, you spring ahead. I'm sorry, my brain is really tired. I hope I've made some sense to you. I can see your messages going by really quickly, and I'm so glad you joined me today, this afternoon, tonight, this morning. Thank you, Tori, for those blessings from Argentina. I'm coming to Argentina pretty soon. And Mark, blessings to you. Thank you. Well done. Well done. We done wells. We done wells, and we're just beginning. There's a song by the Carpenters, we've only just begun to drill. And that's our new motto. We've only just begun. Thank you all for joining me on this motivational Monday that for some of you is now almost Tuesday. Tuesday sounds good to me because that's the day I'm getting on a plane and I'm heading back to my family who are looking forward to having me home. Isn't that good? It's nice to have a family that's looking forward to having me home. Thank you all. God bless you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Thank you for strengthening our hands to do this work. As we bring the psalms of praise and hope and healing and love to people whose cupboards are bare, whose children are crying because they're hungry and they're thirsty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yisa Adonai panev elecha ve'yasem lecha. Shalom. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you soon. Look forward to it. Thanks again for joining me today. Bye-bye.